Throughout the 20th century, archaeologists have uncovered a huge volume of very ancient texts, some dating from more than 3,000 years ago. Some of the things they discovered changed what is printed in the Bibles around the world today. One of those changes is the inclusion of an ancient goddess, the feminine equal of El, who is himself the father of lesser gods like Yahweh and Hadid. This goddess, Asherah, is the long-forgotten mother of the spiteful spirit Christians pretend is the one and only God. It's no wonder the angry lord of Egypt's exiles is so terrified of her and takes his inferiority complex out on his people. She's his mommy, and he hasn't cleaned his room in a very long time. Today we're going to find out more. Welcome to Java and Jugs, the morning show for secular women with something to say. Hello, folks. Welcome, welcome.
What an intro, Ember.
That was great.
Indeed. I
Not
love
bad
it.
for a Monday. Speaking of
bad.
Monday, how's your weekend? Y'all survived. That's a good start.
We're here.
Oh my
Does that mean something?
No, it was just crazy all weekend. I had tons of crap to do and it was just crazy.
Same. Long weekend for me. I spent all day Saturday helping to clean my daughter's house. So that was fun. I'm sore, tired, still. Haven't recovered.
They've already got the Christmas shit out.
Oh, nice.
How dare. It's not even Turkenmas yet.
Turkenmas.
As you,
Turkenmas.
I have already enjoyed my turkey.
Oh,
Yeah,
you went early.
you lucky Canadians.
But the American one, like holiday wise, makes more sense to me because you've got Halloween and then in November you've got
It's all about shopping.
Thanksgiving, and then
Yes.
Christmas. It is all about shopping, and you
Which
guys
I-
are very good at the shopping thing
Black
in the
Friday,
US.
I absolutely refuse to go anywhere. I will stock up and sit my ass at home for 4 days. I won't go anywhere. I just won't do it. But no,
Cyber Monday.
I hate it when stores bring out their Christmas stuff, especially if they bring it out before Halloween, but like immediately after Halloween, I'm just like, you can't wait like a couple weeks or something. The only stores
wanna.
that have any excuse are craft stores because crafters need time to craft their stuff. But
Of course.
No,
everybody else,
It's just capitalism. They're just like, if I don't get my stuff out first, people are going to buy their crap at the guy who does. That's all that is.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be first.
I only did like that Black Friday thing once, and it was for work, and never again.
Yeah, I worked Black
I'll
Friday
never-
3 years in a row.
I like
And-
online
and no.
sales. That's nice.
Yeah. I don't even
I'll
celebrate
do the
holidays
on-
anymore. So
Yeah, I'll do the online thing. Usually Monday is when all the online stores have their sales, and then I think Saturday. Down here, Saturday's been like Small Business Saturday, and there's a couple small businesses in town that if they're running sales, I'll go see what they got. But yeah, I don't support the corporate crap for Christmas, and frankly, I hate Christmas. Like, it's just not interested in doing it at all.
good morning, everybody. Sorry, we're just chatting, getting ourselves woken up, talking about our weekend. I hope you all had a good weekend as well.
Mhm.
Greetings, all y'all survivors. Those of you who didn't survive, my condolences.
They're zombies now, so
It's true.
Oh, Kelly's got a busy day off today. You better get going. I'm glad that you got to stop in and say hello to us. Thank you. We appreciate you. Don't forget to leave a like now. We'll send Satan after you, sir.
Push the
Well,
buttons.
We will.
Oh, Kitty. I see Kitty.
Say, this is Moist, and we rescued her from a tornado. She was displaced when she was just a
Aw.
kitten, and she's my baby.
C'est so
Yeah.
peaceful. That's a little baby.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
she's a sweetheart. Her name is from Farscape,
What's her name?
the show.
What's her name? I'm sorry.
Moya, Moya.
Oh, like the ship.
Moya. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I like it. She's beautiful. And I love black cats. It's really sad that people tend to get rid of them or they won't adopt a black cat. I guess is that superstition?
It's just the Christians with their superstitions.
That's like the silliest thing I've heard in my damn life.
It is.
Like that y'all
It's
really
black
believe
and
that.
that's the color of the devil.
Oh,
It's
wow.
totally my
Which
familiar.
is
Yeah.
weird. Because from a certain
shout out.
perspective, Yahweh is the devil. Like in the context of the 70 gods who are the children of El and Asherah, Yahweh's kind of the asshole jerk little brother, you know?
Yeah.
He is the asshole. That's true. You
Yeah.
are the
Mhm.
asshole.
Definitely.
Yahweh. It's all you. Compared to the other gods, that's definitely true. Can confirm.
Yeah. So what on Asherah? Let's actually talk about the topic a bit. I realize I'm speed running our warm up, but I'm very interested. Asherah, we learned about, like, it's been a word in Hebrew for ages, but people just assumed it meant like a tree or a pole or something. And then
Right.
we found the Ugaritic texts. Yes.
Yes. You guys, they saved us. Them Ugaritic texts do not get the credit that they deserve. Well, probably the scholars know, but everybody else, I don't think they realize exactly how important they are, especially to understanding Canaan, before, I guess, Hebrews, Israelites, religion, etc. And I think that it was the 1930s that those texts were discovered. And then somewhere around the 1940s is when people started to, like Albright. Albright is a scholar, and he was one of the first to start writing about it and saying, like, something's up here with Asherah. I don't think that that he was the one who specifically said, okay, Asherah's in the Bible and she was married to El and she was also a partner to Yahweh. I think that didn't come until like the 60s. And then William Deaver, Raphael Patai started writing books comparing Atharat from the Ugaritic text to Asherah, this pole in the Bible. So the 60s, we really started to be enlightened about who this mother goddess could be. It's just, oh my God, you guys, it's just so exciting.
Do you think that fed into the hippie movement, or was the enthusiasm that made that possible because of the hippie movement? Because, like,
That's a good question.
there was a lot of pagan vibes going around at the time, and I'm
Mhm.
really, really curious if it was the increasing popularity of the more mellow flavor of occult, because the previous generations were very dark occult, Ouija board spiritualism, and so forth. But the hippies were like, man, crystals, yo, it's Age of Aquarius, man, that sort of thing. Did that
Yeah.
feed into the mother goddess thing, or
wonder.
was it the
That
other way?
interconnectivity, right? Like that interconnectivity, connecting with Mother Nature and the divine.
And we've got Gerald Gardner and Wicca coming around that time as
Oh,
well in the
Yep.
60s, I think.
yeah, Wicca. I looked into Wicca and then I realized that it was mostly like a dude kind of thing. And I was like, no, thank you. It's cool, but no, thank you. Not
It's just
interested.
fascinating to me that all these different concepts of feminine goddesses becoming a thing, the mother goddess energy, the divine feminine, it all started to snowball around the middle of the 20th century.
Mhm.
Is it because of scholarship discoveries, or it
It's probably
seems like
a
a
bit
little
of
bit of
all the
both.
above.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because there were several, not only the Ugaritic, there were other inscriptions that were found. I think that was like the 60s as well. The Kuntala Ajrud inscription with Asherah and Yahweh, the Kurbet El Kom inscription, which is an apotropaic hand,
Mhm.
what is it called? Hamsa, the Hamsa, which is like, it could be a blessing or it could also be like a curse.
Oh, good.
What am I talking about? Why don't I just show you guys like the freaking picture? Hold on.
Yeah, show us the
That's one
thingy.
image. This is the one I'm talking about. So this was one of the first one founds. I believe this was in the 60s. I kind of forget, but you can see here, like there's inscription, but the inscription says, if I have accurate translation, it says, Uriyahu, the Honorable, has said, blessed be Uriyahu by Yahweh, and from his Asherah may he be blessed, and may he guard him and lengthen his days. Isn't that cute? That's like so sweet. So it could be like a Hamsa blessing, or like a protective blessing for this funeral, this grave, whatever. And then right here where that little hole is, they think there actually could have been some kind of Asherah pole there. Who's to say? But so cool. So yeah, this kind of started to blow people's minds that now there's a tethering of Yahweh to this Asherah, to this Atherat from Ugaritic. It's almost like you can't deny it any longer.
So, like, was this they were trying to replace El with Yahweh as the pretend ultimate father god, or was it they were trying to make Yahweh supreme by claiming Asherah for his own kind of thing?
I think it was probably the latter. I think that it was almost normal or typical that God's, like a high supreme God, would have a wife. I mean, sure, there comes times where like that's no longer like typical or whatever. But at this time, in this locale in Canaan, the high supreme God had a wifey. So it would just
As did
be
many of the other gods in the area.
Yeah, so it just kind of be common sense as Yahweh rises to more popularity, if that's the case, if that's how it happened. I mean, I don't know. It could have just been because they murdered everybody, like it says with the prophets of Baal. Could be that. I don't know. I'm just saying that it made sense.
There?
I was not there. Asherah told me, but it would make sense that they would just start to adapt and adopt, all those names, titles, and appropriate them for Yahweh. And similarly, he would also just assimilate the wife. Why not? Makes sense. How can you have a supreme God El without his Asherah? So if you have Yahweh, now the supreme God, without his Asherah, it's like, are you sure that's the supreme God? I don't know about that. And then eventually he kind of just started to take her over as well. Just began to appropriate her titles and blessings and imagery, etc.
Kip just put a cool thing in chat.
Dr. Kip says, we don't know, but scholars take their cues from what seems to be happening at Ugarit, where Baal is usurping El. Psalm 79 and 82 seem to preserve something similar for Yahweh. And the only thing I would say about that is, like, as far as Baal usurping El is still very active in the Ugaritic pantheon in those texts. He has little adventures. He's still the one who's deciding whether, somebody will be king or not. Now he asks Asherah because, of course, she's the mother goddess, but he's still very active. Yeah. They have to beseech him for things. Like they have to ask him like, yo, can Baal get his palace, bruh? So I don't know. He's still so powerful and still so active. I don't know. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, I mean, they go to a great deal of trouble in several places to try to fuse their favorite son of El with El, like the El Hadad thing, or they try to make like, I forget how they phrase it in the Bible, but there's so much apologetics about the difference between El, Elohim, and El Yahweh. And
my question was in regards to Elohim, actually. Like, what is the difference between El and Elohim?
So
that's his government.
So what's his middle name? So Dr. Kip would be the one to ask this question, but I do know a tiny bit. So Elohim would have been the plural. Eloah, which is the feminine form of the goddess Eloah, but
Eloah?
Eloah, but it's ELO and then him. So it's like the feminine. What is it, Kip? It's the feminine prefix. I don't know what those words are, but then it has the masculine ending. So eventually just becomes, instead of like plural gods, it just becomes really a name for El. So it was like plural. Sometimes in the Bible it's a plural, but you can only know that if you can read the Hebrew and can tell.
Mormons refer to God as Elohim still. And to my knowledge, it's not in anywhere except the Bible. Like it's not in the Book of Mormon. It's not in the Doctrine and Covenants. It's not in
really Elohim isn't.
As far as I understand it, like I was talking to some missionaries one time, and my question was like, where are you getting God's name being Elohim from? And the only place I could find it was biblically, not in like Joseph Smith's words. So I want to talk to a Mormon now that I'm a little more deconstructed than I was. I have questions. I have questions, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Get
so
answered.
here we go. Here we go. Elohim is a generic term which just means God. It is the most common word used for identifying the God of Israel, who is Yahweh. I don't believe it often refers to El. Oh, in the Bible, it doesn't often refer to El, which is possible.
So Elohim then would mean something like as Kip says, a divine being. El is the divine being, so Elohim would be a divine being, like an
Oh,
angel. Like nobody says it's a Gabriel or a Michael. It's an
Are you
angel. You know?
sure?
I mean,
Are
they
you
might.
sure?
I
I'm
do.
learning so much here. I learned so much.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
this shit's fascinating.
yeah, like in Genesis, where it says, what does it say? It says
In the beginning,
but it says that like basically that humans are made in the images of the gods,
I was
like
just
plural,
wondering about that as
which
you were
it says
talking
us and we.
earlier about the way the words have changed over the years. I was thinking,
Mm.
what if it didn't originally say humans? What if it said the children of God or something like that, and someone later interpreted that to assume humans, but it was actually talking about the creation of the other gods?
Mhm.
I mean, who's to say what the story was in its original form? We got what we got. We got a redacted.
We weren't there.
We were not there, unfortunately. I didn't get to see Adam created and formed out of the mud. Really sad
Watch
about
that
that.
Netflix special.
It's a very
Heartbreaker.
peculiar thing. I've poofed on dust and mud and so forth, and so far no golems.
No golems?
I understand you're supposed to put some kind of scroll in their head or something, but I've just
What?
never gotten it to work out.
A scroll in their head. Which
Yeah, to
scroll is
make a
that?
golem.
Symbol, right? Like a symbol on their head. Is that part of it for doing a golem?
The spell probably varies from culture to culture.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I don't know how to do it. I haven't gotten it to work.
Well, since you mentioned it, and we're talking about Canaan, El in the text forms a being out of, like, similarly to Adam, he forms a being out of the dirt, and she's a healer. She's like this flying kind of golem thing that is able to heal. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Why didn't Adam have that ability? Why couldn't Adam fly and heal things? Like, come on. So many missed
He didn't.
opportunities.
True.
I mean, he never thought to fly. He was a very dull creature. You know, he was just made of dirt. But he didn't really have, like, there was no reason to have healing until somebody did rib surgery. And then the next human to come along suddenly could do healing.
Miraculous. Maybe. Something like
question about the rib though, and I heard this, and I want to know if you ladies know any more about it. In Genesis, when rib is mentioned, and this is possibly a Dr. Kip question. What is the word for rib?
I love that we're going to ask Dr.
Sella?
Kip questions on our show. I love that.
I know, right? Is Sella rib or is it
I have
side?
plenty.
That is my question. Because everywhere else, doesn't it say side for Sella?
I think it is side. I don't think it's supposed to be rib, but oh, look, Dr. Kip says, I know the answer. You just got to buy the damn book.
I have plenty of questions. You can see all the post-it notes.
Look at all the notes. I love it. That's how my books end up looking. I can't keep a book nice. I'll try, but I end up breaking the fuck out of it.
I am such a nerd. I usually end up buying 2 copies. One is the one that I go through and I write in and all that, and then I'll buy another one that looks good for my shelf. And that way, that one I can loan out without somebody having to read through all my notes too.
A lot of times in the on archive.net, when I go searching for like a scholarly book or whatever, and there's like tons of notes in there, I actually like it because it's really helpful. I'm like, ooh, somebody did some of the work for me. Thank you.
Yeah, marginalia. That's a whole thing. That almost convinced me to be a biblical scholar, was learning about marginalia and the way ancient scribes and researchers and whatnot would scribble notes in the sides of the manuscripts they were copying with all these fascinating ideas. Like, what if these words are in the wrong order and that changes the meaning of the sentence, sort of thing? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's just so
sometimes
nifty,
those little margins would actually end up being included in the text in some of the translations, which is frustrating. That wasn't fair, brother.
It's kind of neat though in a genetic sort of way, because you can follow the evolution. You can tell which manuscripts are descended from which earlier versions because of the various errors.
Exactly.
It's
That almost
like
makes it more traceable, easier to find the succession of changes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a shame that some mutations died out, like the what did they call that one where they left out a word and the commandment ended up being "Thou shalt commit adultery"?
Oh, I don't remember, but I like that.
There's a name for that Bible. It was only one edition, but they did a whole print run before anybody noticed because no one proofreads.
I like that much better.
Yeah.
That sounds fun to me.
It's probably something lame like the Sinner Bible or something, but it does have a name. I just can't remember it.
I don't remember. As long as it ain't the Slave Bible.
Right?
That's a whole other issue. That wasn't mutation. That was manipulation. That was mutilation, even. And in fact, the very idea, like, I've never been a Christian. The idea never took root. But understanding the concept of sacredness, I'm a little bit outraged on the Christians' behalf of the people who did that to their sacred texts in order to make oppressing people easier. They don't understand what sacred means. They don't appreciate the holiness of the holy thing, right? And they call themselves Christians. Oh, we're doing it to be good Christians and spread Christianity. That's like top level blasphemy, That's like the highest heresy you can do, is to fuck with the scriptures specifically to do something obviously evil.
Obviously evil.
Fuck.
Dr. Kip says, we're not sure. I think it means rib on the basis of the background of the story. T in Sumerian means both rib and life. It's a connection that seems unmistakably in view for the J writer. Oh, okay. That's very interesting.
So when they spill the tea.
Spill that tea, Dr. Kip. Spill the tea. Please.
Yeah.
The TIT.
I agree with Kip. That just, I have no expertise in the field, but it makes sense. So I'll go with that until I hear otherwise.
Which thing now? Oh, the Sumerian meaning room. Okay, because I'm reading the next thing. Dr. Kip goes on to say, also the physics of what takes place in the story. Yahweh closed the space over where he took the Slia, I think works better with rib. So he closed the space because it's a surgery kind of thing.
Here we go.
Yeah. He's doing surgery.
Chapter 8.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, there you go. Knowledge, sex, and death.
And death. Amazing.
Ooh. I'm good with just learning about the sex, but I guess the rest I'll take as well.
You need the knowledge to know about the sex.
Fine. If that's how it has to be, whatever. I guess I'll just have to learn. Just have to read.
And that brings us back to today's topic. Yeah. So now that we know who Asherah is in a general sense, why was Yahweh so furious about her, especially during like the conquest, where there's great lengths about how much the conquering forces of the Israelites have to go out of their way to burn down and destroy every single Asherah pole. And
Oh, yeah, like with
Separate class. We'll
Josiah.
do that. Yeah. Like, why is he
Um,
so butthurt?
Patriarchy, toxic masculinity. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really all it is, because there would be no reason to do all of that, to go to such extremes and then basically appropriate everything from her. Like, if she's so bad, if she's so evil, then why would you take on
Yeah.
any of her titles or imagery or anything like that? You would just want to get rid of it because it's bad and evil. Instead, they practically erase her, and just now everything that once was hers, he got it in the divorce. They got divorced. Asher lost everything. He took it all. For the first time, the dude won in the divorce, I guess.
I wonder who the judge was in that one, but my goodness. I mean, he's
Right?
terrified of her the way it's described. He's like, she's the only divine being that Yahweh actually flees from. And it
Mhm.
seems to be that's one of the reasons. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
more. But he wants her driven out of Israel by destroying her temples so that he's safe from her.
Maybe
Thinks.
he was asexual.
Maybe, well, I mean, they're gods. They don't,
Oh, but they do.
Get-
they do,
Ugaritic, they
but
do. Oh, they do.
I
They
don't know.
talk
I'm
about
just
elf
thinking about
penis.
all those apocryphal passages where they talk about his big mommy milkers, and I'm
His
like, if
big
he
mommy
took
milker.
everything from her, maybe he was trans all along.
Oh my gosh, it's so
He's like,
true, though. It's
I
so
must
true.
steal your identity. No, but it makes him look so weak. Like, not
Mhm.
just the fact that he's terrified of a female figure, but the fact that instead of like appropriating her temples and whatnot, be like, yes, she's my wife, she's my girlfriend, she's chained in my basement, I'm dominating her. He's
Mhm.
showing fear by ordering all her stuff destroyed, like it'd be a much stronger position to go full on patriarch and be like, male superiority, she's the property. Of course we must protect her shrines because the poor women can't protect themselves, like to
Mhm.
destroy them. It's so cowardly and it looks so weak, and I wonder if that's intentional.
It's like the same thing today, with their insistence on like erasing us, erasing trans identity, erasing even just women in general from positions of authority. It's like we're watching that same thing happen over in our time. Obviously, like, not as worse, and we won't let it happen this time around. But basically, what's in the Bible is similar to what we're watching happen today. We're just going to be stronger to fight it. But they just
Mhm.
demonized everything that was related to anything of a woman having any kind of autonomy over herself. Like, that's really what it was all like. Nothing more than just the
Mhm.
hatred, the pure hatred of women. Sorry, I don't care what anybody thinks. That's my opinion.
The little boys throwing tantrums. It must be my way. I'm bigger and stronger and I'll beat you up.
You're not nice. Okay, so you mentioned the breasts. I was just going to read to you really quickly Genesis 49:25. It says, because the God of your father who will help you, because of the sovereign God who will bless you with blessings from the sky above, with blessings from the deep that lies below, and blessings of the breast and the womb. So it's just really weird that a dude, a guy God, is blessing people with the blessings of breasts and womb. We don't need you for that, broski. We got that. Like, this is not in your area of expertise, my guy. So back up off us. Give that back to the mother goddess. It's not for you.
It's interesting to me that Asherah's symbol, I suppose, is the pole. That's why there's that cross imagery and whatnot. The Jesus was hung from a pole, not from a cross, because the pole with Asherah and so forth. But like, you can't have a more phallic symbol than a pole. Why is the Divine Mother worshipped by way of a pole? Are all the gods trans?
I believe, if you give me a second, I'm going to show you a picture. And okay, so this was the first one that I had up on here. And I'm going to make it a little bigger, actually. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you see right here, that tree, that tree there. And then even here on the right-hand side, there's another tree. And you can see on this one a little more clearly that there's an ibex. You see the two horns and you see the feet here. It's here,
Okay.
but it's harder to see. So tree imagery, life, that life-giving, providing sustenance for people. That's pretty typical of mother goddess imagery. There was a piece of tree found. What is it called? Petrified tree that was found from, I want to say 7,000 years ago. And they believed that it was like an Asherah pole of sorts, not her pole, but a typical kind of like worship the goddess type dealio. Okay. And right here, she has her hands down and it looks as though she's almost pulling her labia. I can say that on here, labia apart.
Mhm.
And right above, there is a child here. She's carrying twins in her arms, another twin here. And some think, I don't know, could be, not sure, that this is Shahar and Shalim, which are twins, dusk and dawn, that Asherah gave birth to, or Atherat, I should say, more appropriate, Atherat gave birth to in the Ugaritic test. She gave birth to dusk and dawn, and she also nurses them. So this could be imagery of that. She's also wearing, it's hard to see here, there's a better image where they've like done an outline of it, but she has like cosmic imagery on her bracelets and on her neck. She's often tied to like the moon because, cyclical nature of life just kind of makes sense. So basically what I'm trying to say, because I've said a lot, is that tree imagery is intricately tied with like the mother goddess. Here again, this is the cult stand from Tanakh. This is one of the images of them. But you're going to see that same imagery all over again. You've got a tree, you've got the ibexes. This is another image with her. This is another side of the image. And you actually see her here down at the bottom. And she's flanked by two lions. She was also called the Lion Lady. And again, above on the third tier, above her is another tree with two ibexes. And I believe this is the sun. And I don't know if that's a horse. I kind of forget. It's been a while since I've like looked through this, but many symbols that would almost be synonymous with her. Like her name might not be written, but you see that symbol, you travel, you see a tree. It's like, oh, that's probably the mother of goddess image. I think it's just something that I think it's like it's psychologically attached to people. I think that's what it is, because it's like everywhere, that tree.
Yeah, it's not that it's necessarily male virility, but fertility. It's a big fucking plant that could have flowers and fruits and so on and so forth. But also, this is really fascinating to me because the way it starts, like low down is the trees and the ibexes, like the plants and animals are like her feet. And then up further, we've got she's holding the twins, the dawn and the dusk. And then up further still is the celestial bodies. This is how we build the conceptualization, the mental construction of what a celestial being might be. Is they start here on earth and they're made from all the things of the earth. And then their middle section is all the things of the sky. And then their head, the part where they are, where they observe from, is the celestial bodies beyond the sky. And that's fucking cool to me.
Right? Dude, like I get little, like I'll be reading stuff and I'll all of a sudden get little shivers. I'm actually kind of getting them right now because I just geek out over this stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. If I could go back in time, I would go back just so I could see what was up. That would be the only reason, just to know what the dealio was. Okay,
Ryan wandering around with an English to Ugaritic dictionary,
right? And just
people be like, "You can read."
That Tanakh stand is from like the 10th century, as well. So it's old-ish, 10th century-ish BC.
Freaking cool though.
I
want one.
Let's share. Oh no, I meant to. Oopsie. There we go. Sorry. This is another one, another find that also has very similar imagery on it, as well as an inscription with Elat, E-L-A-T, which is basically it just means goddess, but it could mean Asherah as well. Many times it does, just like sometimes El just means God, but sometimes El actually means El, the God, if you know what I'm saying. Right here we go. We've got, can you see my, there we go. We've got that ibex imagery here. And look right here. You see that tree? Does that tree look anything familiar to you?
It does look menorah-ish.
Does it not look menorah-ish? Isn't that interesting? And it's not, I
Just
think
a little.
just a little. I think there's two or three of them that have that very same imagery. So again, these are the kind of symbols that transcend time, as far as I'm concerned.
Are those letters around it or just random squiggles?
These right here are letters. These are letters. I believe this is the one that says a lot right here above the tree. And I think it just says something like, to my lady a lot. I forget.
Oh, how sweet. It's a shame
know,
we don't
right?
have the rest of the thing.
Thank you, Kip.
Oh yeah, I've been
Oh my
thinking
god,
about
I'm still
doing
getting one of
that.
those.
I've been thinking
What?
about doing that myself, buying or making something from clay, just making my own replica.
I am not that skilled with I'm not that skilled with clay to be able to do that. I wish I was, but I'm not.
You
So
probably
for
would.
those of you watching after the fact, Kip just dropped in the side chat. It's a link to an Etsy page, and we've got the Tanakh stand, but also the aardvark inscription thing.
Aardvark.
But there's it's cool stuff.
That's so cool.
It's neat.
It is neat. I would love to have that. Very cool.
I am
Yeah,
so getting
and
that.
3D printed. Like, okay, let me see if I can like
big is it?
bigify this so we can see better, because there's like a little video with this thing. Here it is.
Bigify.
Like, look at that. It's 3D even. Ah,
I
Is there
love
a
that
different page
people
you're
are so
sharing?
geeky about this, that this is a thing. I love that. I
I
absolutely love that.
know. The nerdery. It's
Mhm.
over 9,000.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus,
Yeah.
I didn't share the tab. Why am I so bad at this job? There we go. This is what I was trying to show you.
Whoa. That's only $49?
Right?
That's
So, like,
actually
it comes
incredibly
paint
priced.
or
Dude, the mini would fit like right here. That would look
Yes.
so good. Oh my god.
What are the dimensions on this thing? Does it say?
Yeah, go where it says learn more about this item. And it
Learn-
tells you the dimensions. That's where I was
Over
just
here?
looking.
I think
No,
it's
that's
learn
learn more.
materials. Here we go. Yeah.
Where is
Under
that?
materials, it says learn more about this item. There you go. Above your mouse. Up a little
Yeah.
bit. There we go.
Okay.
6.5 inches, 11.5 inches, and 20.5 inches.
Oh wow. So that's nice size.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, that seems like that might
shows
be
the sizes.
that might be the actual size of the stand.
It's not
It's
the
a-
size that counts. Oh shit, the 20-inch one, hand painted, $375.
Now that makes more
sense.
sense. That makes a bit more sense.
The mini is $49, the 6.5
But
inch.
totally worth it.
I would paint one
Totally worth
for
it.
sure. I would get like just a plain one, and I'd want to paint it myself.
Oh, oops. I didn't even know that was a thing. Robert Algat has very generously permitted me to continue using the photograph of the Tanakh cult stand on my cover. Go buy his shit.
That's awesome.
Oopies. Yeah, I guess I probably should be more careful with the pictures I share, but I don't know. I'm just a little girl.
I mean, technically it's all fair use because we're doing it for education and review and so forth.
True. So you guys, so there are some scriptures that there's an inkling that they've been like her name has been redacted, One of my favorite ones is Deuteronomy 33 verses 2. That was the first one I learned from Francesca Stavrokopoulou on her show
Mhm.
that she had, that 3-part series, The Secrets, Bible's Buried Secrets. And do you guys want to read Deuteronomy 33:22? Do you want to just read it?
Sure.
Do you want to
Let's
just
do
read
some Monday Bible study. What could go wrong?
it? Okay, hold on. Share this tab instead. I gotta push buttons. So, okay, so Deuteronomy 33:2 says, he said, the Lord came from Sinai and dawned over them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran. He came with myriads of holy ones from the south, from his mountain slopes. So Francesca Stavrokopoulou believes that where it says that he came, wait, is it from holy ones? Is it holy ones, the words? No, I don't think it's holy one. Give me a second. I'm going to pull this up. Oh, at his right hand. Wait, is this the right one? Why do I feel like this isn't it? At his right hand. Is it maybe the translation?
I don't know what we're looking for, so I don't
I
know. if it's
apologize.
the right one.
So give me 1 second. I think it could just be my translation. I'm used to the NSRVUE, but yes, here it is. I'm sorry, you guys. So right here where it says at his right, a host of his own, Francesca Stavrokopoulou believes that it could say at his right was his Asherah. And it would just be a very slight rearranging of the letters that would make that happen. And that is how they were able to change verses. They had like little rules on how they were able to do that. So it would also be, from what she says, a more accurate rendering, because the word that they used to say like at his right was a fiery law, that some translate it to, doesn't, the word for law is a Persian loan word. So it doesn't necessarily make sense to have a Persian loan word in a poem that's allegedly fairly older than that Persian word, which is why it would make more sense to just change that little letter and it would be Asherah. There's a lot of this kind of marching along with your cohorts. And there's other imagery in the Bible where Yahweh does that as well, but also in the Ugaritic where the gods are kind of working together, doing their little thing, conquering people. That's what you do as a god.
Mhm.
So I thought that was really super duper cool. And I wish you guys all could watch Bible's Buried Secrets. It's incredible. That's like my favorite thing. Sometimes I just turn that on just to listen to her. Just to watch Francesca Stavrokopoulou talk. But there's so many instances where there's a likelihood that she was in these scriptures, but now just completely redacted.
Mhm.
And it makes sense because she was there. She did exist. You just have to find her.
Mhm.
So many. This is the kind of shit why there were so many mystery cults running around the area, possibly culminating in the 1st century, but they
Oh, wow,
certainly
that is
weren't
nice.
only in the 1st century, is because there were so many belief paths, philosophies, even whole religions that were forced underground. They weren't erased, they were just hidden. And some of their signs came to mean other things, and some of their ideas came to be incorporated in other ways. But there were still these truth seeker gurus who were espousing bits and pieces of the, and maybe they understood what they were saying, or maybe they were just saying bits and pieces that they'd come across, trying to sound profound and gain more followers. It's hard to say, because grifters today do the same thing. They take little bits from Buddhism and little bits from Mithraism, and they try to sound super profound with as many syllables as they can, and tell you to clean your room, and they become millionaires,
Ain't that the truth?
But some of them actually are searching for something.
Well, wouldn't that make sense that as your group, let's say, is being persecuted, or you kind of have to go down under a little bit and hide, that eventually those symbols make their way to the surface somehow. Like over here, when people who were enslaved started to kind of make their own religion from the stuff they were getting from Christianity, as well as their old, tribal beliefs that they had brought over, and kind of marrying them together to make something new. And some of the symbols are transcendent of those different, beliefs or whatnot. I mean, I think that's just human nature. I just think it's human nature to do those kind of things. I mean, what do I know? I don't really know that stuff, but
no, it is. And there's a whole bunch of different reasons for it. Like what I'm thinking of is from the Underground Railroad. And, they're not necessarily based on any particular religious tradition, but they were markings all over the bloody place to different directions and different meanings and so forth. But people who didn't know what they meant would come up with their own meanings. They'd be like, oh yeah, these are clearly, Navajo patterns that were about good fortune or fertility or something, like people see markings all over the place, like on random fence posts or next to a doorway or something. And a similar thing happened in World War II, where people would put markings next to doorways to let people who were hiding, who are going stealth, Jewish people, gay people, Roma, so forth, who are trying to blend in and not get caught, where the safe places were. Or, there were markings for like, this place has a room in the back, or this place doesn't have space, or this place is being watched by the SS. Like all these little code things that people didn't realize were even markings,
Yeah. Pretty slick.
Mm-hmm.
I love that about humans, how we're able to hide in plain sight. And like it's right there in front of you, but if you don't know the symbolism, you don't know what's being said, which I guess is maybe why people have such a satanic panic, but they're reading too much into stuff they shouldn't.
Yeah. It's an oof. So that's always made me wonder a little bit too, like how much of what we believe about the ancients today was reconstructed. I mean, our scholars go to great pains to try to not project their own conclusions onto things. Like they'll say, this might mean, but I don't want to say because I could be wrong, Like here's a potential interpretation, but I want to call attention to the fact that it's only a potential interpretation. We're very careful, but not every scholar across all time is like what if a second century person came across these fish symbols all around Jerusalem and went, oh, these must be Christian symbol. Like they are, because the Christians use them and we know that. But just as an example, if somebody comes across a symbol and doesn't know what it means and then just makes something up and writes it in their history book, how do we know,
Right. Just like what's his face who created Wicca? Isn't that kind of similar to what he did? He was just taking a bunch of stories and
Gardner, it's a little more complicated. There was another author, I forget the name, who published a book called something like The Witch Cults of Western Europe a couple decades prior. Gardner read it, said, ooh, there's magic out there. There's secret cults. I have to go find them. And he went and found other people who'd read the same book and started setting up their own magic circles. And every group started to develop its own traditions. And so he went from group to group, trying to make himself more and more important, until eventually he thought he had enough to write down what the actual witches are really doing, except they're all recreationists or recreationists, depending on which way you want to look at it. And so it's sort of like modern heathenry, right? Like there aren't any old school heathens, people who were heathens before the Christians wiped everything out. They're recreating the ancient Germanic worship of Thor and Odin and so forth. It's a similar thing with Wicca. Like there may be people who actually did have like a generational practice that was mostly like how to midwife, which herbs to use for different illnesses, that sort of stuff. But like witches, the way Wiccans think of it, is virtually entirely a modern recreation. But Gardner's book is based on Gardner's experience with the other cosplayers, for lack of a better term.
Indeed.
And then everybody else started doing their own thing. Alexander was like, no, Gardner is wrong. We need to incorporate some elements from Crowley. And it just, it went,
The Rosicrucians.
it got interesting. It continues to get interesting. Like there's people who deviated so far. It was that original seed of rebuilt paganism that spawned into the people trying to rebuild the ancient religions, like the Astaru folks in Norway, the heathens in Germany, the fucking Mithraists in Persia. You know, there's people trying to rebuild all these ancient religions from what little remains and their own best guesses.
Right.
And that comes out of the same movement. But there's also people going the other direction and making up entirely new shit.
I mean, it's hard even doing history from 100 years ago, because to an extent, you're still saying this is what most probably happened. We're not entirely sure, but this is probably what happened. And then you extrapolate that to several millennia ago. Yeah, all you can do is give your best educated guess on what was going on. That's it.
Yeah. I like a lot of times when I'm like studying, let's just say the Ugaritic myths, I have like 5 or 6 translations that I have that I look just to see the different, because they're different. They will sometimes be different. And many times when I'm reading like what the scholars have to say or their footnotes, this is the best guess because of A, B, C, D. It's not always a yes, it said this, and yes, it was this. It's this is what we have, so it's likely, but we can't just say that's what it is. I like when Christians are so certain and so sure. I'm like, bruh.
That's the difference between scholarship and religion, right? Because like we see the same thing with the neo-paganisms. Like we've got the scholars saying it may have been this, but it was probably this, or it could be something else pending new information. Exactly. And then somebody comes along and is like, we need to turn this into a workable religion. So I'm just going to make it dogma. This is the truth. You know, fuck your scholarship. We're doing this now, you know? And that's what religion always does. You know, I mean, you very well could have started with a cultural tradition, a cultural wisdom passed down through the ages of we don't eat shellfish because Rolf's grandfather ate a shellfish and he died of a stomach sickness. So it's clearly forbidden by the gods. We don't eat pork for the same reason. We don't wear mixed fabrics because, you know, Adolf's cousin's sister's uncle was struck by lightning wearing mixed fabrics. So clearly the gods don't like that. You know, all these different things. And then somebody comes along and goes, enough with the qualifiers. God said so. That's the official line now. Anybody who crosses it, we're just going to murder them. You know?
But you know, some of those things you just said, just like that one thing specifically about the fabrics, that could also be because of the dislike between the shepherds and the city folk. You know, shepherds make clothes out of wool, and the city folk make their clothes out of, you know, whatever the hell they grow, and hemp. I don't fucking know. And we don't want those two fabrics mixing, i.e. we don't want them people mixing either. Because there was a huge, I don't know, not hatred. I don't know. I guess hatred between the shepherds and the...
Yeah. And I mean, there's always been a bit of a disconnect between the city people and the country people. There's always been a little bit of a disconnect. Even modern day, there's a huge disconnect there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was just different back then because the city was more of the farming areas. So like that's kind of not how it is here, but it's the same premise. It really is.
Yeah.
But they take those differences and then turn them into some kind of dogmatic, like you said, Ember, into some kind of dogmatic rule now.
Right. It's like you could have a scholar who explains these things and people listen and learn and they try to do better and raise the next generation with more awareness. But instead, some asshole who wants power sees a division and exploits it to gain more power. Well, we got to watch out. Those farmers with their sheep monopoly, they're going to invade the city and take away your children, you know?
Yeah, I don't.
I wanted to comment on this. Is
Yes,
that
please.
okay?
Please.
Yeah, for sure.
So Godwin says, I hate the word pagan. Everyone is pagans, atheists, and each other. Isn't it a useless word? Please correct me if I'm wrong. I was never a Wiccan. I was a non-denominational pagan for a good chunk of my pagan experience. And I I practiced Hellenic paganism, but that word was very important to me. Being a pagan was a very that word specifically coming out of Christianity and then going into paganism. And then it breaks down into Wicca, heathenry, asatru, all of the little fun newer age religions, I suppose, that have been brought back.
We should put
But I
Neo
still
in
thought,
front of all of those, but nobody expects there's like real Vikings running around in the 21st century.
What?
the show was good, but that's where it stops for me. I find the term helpful, pagan, because much like how you've got the umbrella for Christianity and different denominations fall under Christianity, pagan, you would have the different denominations that fall under pagan religions that have like a pantheon of gods and goddesses. Um, so I guess that's my little soapboxy. Yes, please. The word is important. Even as an atheist, I still think that it's important to distinguish like a pagan. Like, okay, Kent Hovind, for example, says that evolution is a pagan religion. That makes no sense to me because it's not. I don't understand. It doesn't click in my brain, even as an ex-Christian. I don't understand that. It just seems like if something that a Christian doesn't like, they call it a pagan thing.
Yeah, and anything not Christian is pagan. Just like Christianity once was pagan because it wasn't the official religion of Rome. That's all it originally meant, is the colloquial faiths of the silly village people and so the village people. Da, da, da. It's around my area. I know I'm having major squirrel moments this morning. I didn't get enough sleep and I need more coffee. I'll go get some more soon. But Pagan Pride Day. We have a Pagan Pride Day. Like there's all kinds of pagans. There's a lot of the neo-Hellenoids, I guess, the Hellenic people, but there's also the neo-Celts and the neo-Wastaru and other people. There's people who are just full on Gaia worship. They're like, screw all the ancient stuff. Let's get back to basics. The earth is the sacred thing. Let's worship that. Yeah. And every fucking flavor. And they're all cool with each other because they're all pagan. Like they realize it's just where things stand now. There are some specific traditions with each traditional path, but for the most part, the pantheons are substitutable. Like you could take neo-heathenry and neo-Romanism, I suppose, and switch the gods, and it makes almost no difference to how you go about doing rituals and such. Almost no. Because they're so closely related, at least at this point in history. And more importantly, perhaps, they're all oppressed by the same culture that says you have to be a Christian or you're a bad person.
But
I think that's where us atheists get along so well with the neo-pagans.
The only thing that I don't get, about the word pagan, I don't really have an issue with the word pagan. I don't appreciate that it's meant to be derogatory, but I feel like we have taken the derogatory away from it, even though Christians probably intentionally want it to be a bit more derogatory. Oh shit, now I don't remember where I was going. No, I don't remember where I was going now. I was going to say something. It'll come back to me, I think. It was something about pagan. It was something about the word pagan. I know I call myself an atheo-pagan, but
yeah,
I like
because polytheist, really atheo-polytheist. I don't know. Pagan just seems to sound better instead of just saying polytheist. I don't
That's
know.
true too. Because, like, well, it also creates misconceptions, right? Like, because if you allow theist anywhere in the way you identify yourself to others, they take away from that. Oh, you believe in a God, therefore I just have to convince you that my God is the correct God.
Ah,
No. You have to convince me that your God exists before we even start talking, you know?
right. Try me, brah.
Yeah.
Try me. Hello,
It's
Casey.
wild.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Oh, we've got other people asking for coffee breaks. Did we save any commercials in
I'm
here?
not sure.
I don't know, but I need water. Like, I'm out of water and I don't have coffee, so I have nothing to drink.
We do
dying.
have, I
Should've
don't
come
know if it's
prepared,
the
Ben.
most recent version, but we do have a version of the Apologist Supercut. It's a little over 2 minutes. I'll play it. I'll run and try to grab coffee fast enough. I know 3 minutes is better for a coffee break, but we're doing our best here, folks.
Getting ready to
So I'll hit
run.
the button and 3, 2, 1, go.
I have a problem with this stuff being normalized across the spectrum, and specifically, like, why push this on kids? Why introduce this to kids?
I am a depraved wretch. I am a great sinner. I'm a worm, completely undeserving of any love or any grace. I'm nothing. I'm nothing.
You're incapable of being a good person. You're an evil person. You're a terrible person. At the core fabric of who you are. That's why we need laws. We need laws because we're bad people. All of us are bad people.
You can't spell Pride Month without demon. PRIDEMONTH.
If we don't know who the women are, because they are just people, then we won't be able to pull the women up to equality with men.
We have to try to limit the harm. And that means reducing or keeping down the number of people who transition. And that's for two reasons. One of them is that every one of those people is a person who's been damaged. But the second one is every one of those people is basically, you know, a huge problem to a sane world.
Transgenderism must be eradicated.
The LGBT, transgender, grooming our children's minds is a national security threat. We need to hold people for treason, start having some public hearings, and start executing people.
It was actually a tremendous blessing to these children for them to be killed and go to heaven and be with God.
I will use whatever gives me victory. I don't care about the truth, and I don't care about the law. I care about one thing, the control.
But then they rigged the election, and now we won, so I'm going to be your president. Then what happened is they rigged the election, and I became president, so that was a good thing.
Stop letting people pressure you into thinking.
I want to be ignorant, honestly.
Being a Christian doesn't exclude us from experiencing spiritual dryness.
And you can avoid spiritual dryness by making sure you're subscribed to this channel wherever you're watching, as well as all the host channels in the description. We all have our own channels. We all make cool stuff. Join us for the various things we do. It's such a great trend. After that horrible ad, oh my goodness. And it keeps getting worse because I keep finding more apologists saying, it used to be apologists saying silly things. Now it's apologists saying horrible things and the consequences of those things. What's happening?
It's Kip. Kip's whining at me.
It sounded like someone screaming Stella. And I think Ryan may be muted.
No, she's looking at me and whining because she wants pets.
Are you fucking with us, Ryan, or are you actually muted?
I'm just muted. I'm just talking to myself.
Okay.
God damn it. God damn it. I said something really cool and funny too. Oh well.
Naturally. Now the commercial thing, theoretically, the reason to have a panel is so one or two of us can sneak off whenever we have to. But when the conversation is interesting, you don't wanna, you know?
I don't want to leave. You can't blame me for not wanting to leave.
Yeah. My goodness.
My goodness.
Sorry, where the hell were we? Something about polls.
I want to read a scripture to you guys, if you don't mind. I want to read Jeremiah, and it's 44, I believe. 44. Is it 17 through 19? Hold on. I apologize. I'm getting there. And this scripture, to me, is the heart of how the I don't know, Hebrews, Israelites, whatever the hell you want to call them, must have felt at the time, after them continuously trying to demonize her. Okay. Right here, Jeremiah, this is 44, and I'm going to start with 16. I forget all what it is, but we'll figure it out. As for the word that you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord, we are not going to listen to you. Instead, we will do everything that we have vowed, make offerings to the Queen of Heaven, and pour out libations to her, just as we and our ancestors, our kings, and our officials used to do in the towns of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. We used to have plenty of food and prospered and saw no misfortune. But from the time we stopped making offerings to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out libations to her, we have lacked everything and have perished by the sword and by famine. And the woman said, indeed, we will go on making offerings to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out libations to her. Do you think that we made cakes for her, marked with her image, and poured out libations to her without our husbands being involved? So they're trying to condemn worship of anybody other than Yahweh, basically. But the women are saying, excuse me, when we made offerings to the Queen of Heaven, when we worshiped her, when we baked our cakes, when we gathered the wood and we made the fires, yada, 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 we had our little celebrations and festivities, we'd have everything we needed. Well, there wasn't famine, there wasn't drought. It was all cool. It was all kosher. And then when you made us stop, stuff got really bad. So there are some people, there are Jewish, I guess you could say Jewish people at the time who are telling Jeremiah, you fucked us up. Shit's fucked up because of you. I just like to point that out. You were the ones.
Like a complaint letter? Like that
basically,
Ian Nasir guy sells shitty copper?
Basically, letter to the editor. Because of you.
Isn't that interesting though? Like this book, it's people say it's a history book, and it is, because it includes shit that has nothing to do with the religion, right? Like there's a complaint letter, there's that I forget the book which chapter it is and so forth, but there's a section in here like, when we were, wandering the desert, this one group of people was mean to us, so we will not write the name. The name of that people will be erased from the history. Nowhere shall anyone speak or write the name Carl or whatever the fuck it is. It's something, and they wrote it down, even though the point was to erase it from history, and so they tried to it. Like they immortalized it.
Right, because, you might have made it worse.
Yeah,
You ding dong.
Fuck. It's the complaints in there. It's just wild. It's like being in the middle of a Shakespearean monologue, right? You're doing the Othello thing, and all of a sudden you're like, and also Brenda can't get a stain out to save her life, but Horatio, let me tell you, what is happening?
Oh my goodness.
My whites are not white any longer.
I just, knowing that we're not sure how much of this is history whatsoever, right? We just do not know.
Mm-hmm.
But this to me rings true, because it's basically embarrassing in my perspective, because they're telling you that you excuse me when I say you, I'm saying Jeremiah. The women are telling Jeremiah that his course of action has led to whatever issues that they're having at the moment. So I feel as if this likely happened, that the women did complain, that the women were telling you like, yo, our husbands were cool with this. So I don't know why you're like being all pissed off at me and treating me like I'm a POS, because Hubs was right there with me. He was cool with it. Like, he was down to clown. We had his permission, not that you need his permission, but it wasn't as if they were sneaking around doing things that they weren't supposed to. They had a good life. and not so much anymore. It just rings true to me. Again, we don't know what is true, but I feel like that's something the women would have said at the time, how they would have felt.
Mm-hmm.
Track. I mean, assuming, we lived in an era where women were allowed to write. Yeah, I could see that.
I don't, here's what I'll say. I don't know. But what I do know, if any of Jezebel's story is true, if she could read and write,
It's a big if, but yeah.
Right. She likely spoke 2 languages because she would have
at least
had to learn. Right. She would have had to learn Hebrew. She was writing letters, allegedly. Again, is it a true story? She was able to write letters, and I'm assuming that was in Hebrew, not Phoenician. So there may have been women who were reading and writing. I think it's very likely. I don't really think that the whole misogyny thing really took over till after the exile. That's how I feel. But
well, it seems to go through different periods throughout history, right? Because there was before the Assyrian Empire really got going, there was that culture rising in the Middle East of male kings and emperors and whatnot. But in the Mediterranean Sea, there was that pre-Minoan civilization that was matriarchal. And then the fucking volcano went off and obliterated that civilization, and the patriarchy won by default. If the volcano had been in, Lebanon or something, then history would be very, very different. The patriarchy thing seems to wax and wane across history. Like we see in the 7th century, there was a much higher degree of equality in the Middle East than there was in the 1st century or the 13th century, because Muhammad is running around conquering everything, and half his generals are women because there's near equality at the time,
Wow.
It just
There's so much of this stuff I really, really want to know. I really wish I could learn all this.
It is interesting, though, how the pendulum swing. It's a tainted Overton window throughout all of fucking history.
Yeah,
because it's not. We go from male superiority to female superiority. It's male superiority. We drag the arc of justice to equality. And as soon as we let go, it springs right back to male superiority. It's never female superiority. Equality is as far left as we can get the damn thing.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I'm not saying female superiority would be better. Just
it would be nice if equality was the norm and not
equality is
way
considered
on the
the extreme position.
The fact that thousands of years later we're still having these stupid ass discussions, it sickens me, but it just feels like it's all I can do. I can't forget about it. I can't pretend that it's not happening. I feel like I have to actively fight back against it. And some of that is doing our best to get to the truth, to get to accuracy, instead of being dogmatic, which is really difficult to do when you have had all these preconceived notions put into your head and you're just used to reading a scripture and you see it for what it is, not realizing that there could be something more there lost in translation. There's just so much deep dive that you need to do. And I mean, I'm not a scholar. I mean, there's scholars here, but I'm not a scholar. But I feel compelled to do some of these things because otherwise I just got a bunch of apology bros in my face telling me that Asherah was a demon. That's their only answer. When I give them all of this information and oh, look, here's an image of the menorah and it has an inscription of the goddess, and there's a likelihood that symbol was adapted by the Yahwist. She was evil. She was a demon. That was planted.
All false gods.
That was planted by the demons. That inscription. That's their answers.
And that's the infuriating thing is like so many people are taken in by the quick and easy answer. They're like, oh well, that's it's all explained, but it doesn't just scratch the surface and you see the whole thing. It's a palimpsest of traditions and histories and interpretations and reinterpretations and symbols being conquered and taken for other things, but they used to mean something else. And there's so much more. Like there's no bottom to this. It goes all the way back through history. All the fucking way. It's
Crazy.
amazing. And these dipshits are like, nope, just a demon. They're missing all of it.
Oh, y'all, it seriously infuriates me. Like I will to do a video with all of this research information, to give people the books, to give people like the artifacts, whatever it is, and then the answer to be, oh yeah, it says right here in this scripture she was a demon. Oh, thanks for that. Wow. You've really like brought something to my attention that I didn't think of. How about you're the one not thinking about the fact the only reason that you don't like women is because you've been told you shouldn't like women because you want to compete with them. You feel embarrassed that women can do just as much as you can and be just as powerful as you.
It's not entirely their fault. That's part of the indoctrination process, is teaching them how to stop their thinking. Like the thought stopping techniques, it's a whole field of study, right?
I know all about that.
People who never have the stimulus to start to break free from that, who don't realize it's possible to break free from that. They're trapped in this cage that was built around them as children. And that's really shitty. And yes, I think adults are responsible for what they do as adults. But if they've never had the opportunity or even realized it was possible to break free, then I'm not saying excuse them, but maybe it gives some ground for understanding them. But it doesn't mean that them using thought-stopping techniques to ditch a whole conversation and erase most of history is okay either. Right. Also, real quick, Mark says, don't forget the Greek Amazons. Yes, there have been a couple matriarchal
I want to learn
cultures.
about them.
We're doing, well, not just them, but that's Tuesday's Hot Topic. Today we're doing Is Christianity a Kink on Hot Topic after this show. But Tuesdays is Lore of Lesbos. It's not just the Isle of Lesbos, but very.
I've read about the Isle of which epic is that in? Is it Iliad or is it Odyssey?
It's mentioned in the Odyssey, but it's best known because that's where the poet Sappho hung out, which is where lesbians get their name.
Sapphic poetry, please.
Love it, please. I like those, like the Greek gods and Roman gods. Like I wasn't allowed to learn about them. You know, that was like demon stuff. So in my adulthood, I've done my best to learn. But there's so much. That sounds like an epic Hot Topic. I'm excited for that.
It should be pretty neat. I'm hoping I hope a bunch of y'all come and bring all your favorite lores and bits, because I'm trying my best to find bits and pieces, but I'm swamped with so much other shit. I'm trying. I had a photo job this weekend. I have to work on the photos. I'm building assets for the new show. I'm juggling too many things. I'm doing my best, but
I'll tell you this. I've been collecting the myths and the history and the lore and all that stuff for 20 plus years. I still have barely scratched the surface of it. So it's
a lifetime's work to just get a portion of an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we need more than one scholar, because like everybody, it's how do you eat an elephant? You get everybody together and everyone takes a bite, you know?
Yeah. We all know who our favorite scholar is, but
do we have to eat them raw?
I mean, I suppose you could cook them if you want to. It's how you eat it's up to you.
Dr. Kip, or is Dr. Kip our favorite scholar? Is that who it is?
I have a dog named Dr. Kip. Yes.
I couldn't have guessed. I could not have guessed, Lilith.
I mean, if I had a dog, I might name him.
If I had another dog, I might name him Dr. Josh, but they'd be bickering all the time.
That would be hilarious.
But then you need a Megan. You need a Megan too. You'd have to get a Megan.
See, I'm going to end up with a menagerie of dogs. I'll name Dr. something.
Dr. Bird and
the funny thing is
a dog named Dr. Bird sounds wrong. It should be a bird named Dr. Bird. This is my cockatiel, Dr. Bird. She'll whistle at you.
Don't name it Dr. Horrible.
No, my old advisor, my old boss, has a PhD in my field, obviously. And I told him about naming my dog Dr. Kip, and he was offended that I didn't name it after him. So I offended my old boss.
Sheesh.
What can
And
you
he's
do?
the one trying to get
Maybe
me a job in
actually
Germany right
sounds more
now.
like a cat. That would be hilarious.
No, I'm not getting you the job. You didn't name your dog after me. He'd do
You're
that too.
fired. Hawaiian style elephant pit barbecue. Oh no.
Mhm.
I love elephants. Please don't eat the elephants. I was just using an old phrase.
One bite at a time.
Nom nom nom. I bet elephant would taste good though.
I don't know.
I mean,
Isn't
I
it
don't.
weird
I
how
don't.
some
I
animals
don't
are like, no, we
Texas
won't eat
cow.
I don't want to hurt the elephants, but like,
Texas Longhorns. Texas Longhorns, they're yummy. I shouldn't be saying that. I am a Longhorn. Why do you always make me hungry?
The thing, and then there's the metaphorical identification, like with the team, and there's so many layers to when people say things. You ask so many questions. What answers should I choose?
I was about to say there's no teams named after chickens, but then yeah, I can think of a couple. There's like the Gamecocks and something else. So
I feel like the Cockwombles should be the name for Manchester.
I used to go.
Manchester United. They could be the Cockwombles.
Mm-hmm. I went to a community college with the name the Thunder Ducks.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
why not?
That's what happens when you graduate high school when you're 17.
It's vaguely intimidating.
Mm-hmm. Until their colors are green and purple, and yeah, there were no teams. There was like a soccer team, and that was it.
Don't mind me. I'm just looking up the scripture, you guys.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm like, yeah, those green-haired sports people.
So,
infamously,
one of the things I like to do is try to find the scriptures where it likely she was, like Asherah did appear, but was later redacted. And one of them also, so there's Deuteronomy 33 that we looked up first, but another one is in Ezekiel 8, where it talks about an image of jealousy, which provokes to jealousy, was at the north gate, and women were weeping for Tammuz. So it says an image of jealousy, which provokes jealousy, which just kind of sounds a bit redundant and kind of weird. And the scholar Margaret Barker and others probably, but I just know specifically she's mentioned it, that the term image of jealousy, I apologize for my pronunciation, Semel HaKina, may be a corruption of an actual Ugaritic title that you can find in the text of Semel HaKine, which means the woman who creates. So instead of saying an image of jealousy, which provokes to jealousy, an image of jealousy, which is the image of the woman who creates. So Yahweh's jealousy, which we know he's jealous, the Yahwehs were jealous of the worship that Asherah was receiving, the veneration.
Well, this leads to an interesting logical predicament because Yahweh's jealousy is of the women, but Yahweh runs around saying, I am jealousy. My name is jealous. So is that Yahweh coming out? Like there's a whole lot of trans parallels in the Yahweh evolution story.
Yahweh, you trying to tell us something, buddy?
Is that why he wouldn't let Moses see his glory?
His glory hole?
Well, if he hadn't had lower surgery, he might be, Moses, don't look. You can see my backside, you can see my beard, but not my glory.
Don't look at my glory.
Is that why you can't see the other person at the glory hole?
Oh, you don't want to look upon their glory.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense. Maybe.
It might. I don't know.
It could. But
I've
there's
got
lots
the
of
vapors, folks.
instances.
Thinking about Yahweh's divine
I got the vapors.
godliness.
I get the vapors thinking about all the poems and literature that could actually be wisdom or whatever, something that possibly came from, Asherah's prophets, prophetesses, like her worshipers, I don't know, rituals, what have you, and then it's all just kind of smushed and transformed into something for Yahweh. Like, humph. That makes me a little bit humph. Man, I got kicked out of the local glory hole because I brought donuts. How are you holding the donuts is what I'm wondering.
Oh God.
Were they in your hands?
If you
Please
really
tell me
want
they
to
were.
be mean. So the donuts thing is funny as hell. But if you really want to be mean, bring cock rings. Because if something comes through a hole, unrequested, unsolicited, unwanted, just put a ring on it and they can't get it back out.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Ow. It get a little swole. Got so swole, couldn't fit through the hole.
Oh no.
That sounds painful.
It's like putting a nut on the bolt. Like bloop. Now you gotta scream for help until someone comes and just. This is why
Put
we can't
butter
have
on
nice
it.
things, folks.
I heard butter works. Just kidding.
Like when a kid gets stuck in a banister?
That might be even smarter, to be fair. That might be a better idea. Oh my gosh, you guys. So Jess.
Yes.
Don't the Mormons talk about a mother of the Lord or something? Don't they have
They
an
have
idea?
Heavenly Mother, yeah. And
Okay.
there's one like song that mentions her in passing. And it's the only one I think that's like officially recognized by the LDS church, like as a quorum of the I don't know. I'm not an ex-Mormon. I just really found Mormonism really interesting coming out of Christianity. It's something that I researched as well because I was like, oh, it would make sense if Jesus came over to the New World, and that would make sense. But archaeology disagrees. So,
Indeed.
Very much
it would
disagree.
have been powerful because, how many of us in high school would have been like, well, isn't it weird that all these gods only appeared to a very small group of people in a very small geographic area? And even though they're supposedly omnipresent, they never show up anywhere else. If we saw evidence of the same God appearing in a completely unrelated area at the same time, that might be stronger evidence for that God. And then, lo and behold, here's the Mormons saying Jesus actually did visit the New World, but there's nothing backing it up. And virtual 100% certainty that the guy who made it up, he was a con man. He was convicted of being a con man. So, it isn't even a question.
Yeah.
It is a fraud,
Yeah.
I think I was
it's a
told,
total fraud.
I don't know if it's true, but I think I was told that they believe that she was hidden to protect her or something like that. Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe there's a possibility I'm making that up.
safe from that angry Yahweh fellow.
But it's like, we don't need you to protect us. We need you just to leave us the fuck alone. We don't need you to hide us. We don't need you to hide us, honey. Just
I remember one of these radical feminists says we need men to keep us women safe, and I'm just like, without men who would keep us safe, from whom, Brenda? Without men, whom do we need to be protected from?
Karen.
Brenda.
Karen, who are you talking about, Karen? Hello? Right? And you know what also frustrates me about Christians, or I guess I should say, yeah, I really should say Christians, is they are dead set. They are hellbound that God had a son. Like there's not even a question to them that God had a son, or if they think there's a Trinity, that he like split himself off, did a little jizz in a cup, and then sent that sperm down to the earth, or whatever they think happened. Like, no problem there. Like, for them, that's like, yeah, duh, God has a son. And then you say, well, yeah, but you don't get a son without like a wife or without the mother. So the likelihood that God also had a wife is just kind of like duh, common sense as well, wouldn't you think? Oh
Well,
no, not a
it's so
wife. Okay,
wild
so
to
he needed a
me.
son, but he doesn't need a wife. Like, how does that even add up? The wife comes first, my dude.
The Gospels talk about Jesus, and
Should
maybe it's just Paul, I forget, but they talk about Jesus as the last Adam, and Adam was another human brought to life by Yahweh without assistance from a mortal. Like, you don't have to fertilize a human to make a human. He did it from dirt the first time. And referring to Jesus as the last Adam, it just, you don't have to have the human involved,
Uh-uh. Nope. He proved that the first time, if that's
Right.
a correct
And also,
depiction.
this is a fun one that just popped into my head. This whole apologetic that God, the guilt trip, right? The guilt trip from the Christians. God gave the world, he so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son to suffer and die on the cross for your sins, so you better worship. If Jesus is the Son of God, so is Adam. And so Jesus is not the only, well, maybe begotten, but whatever the fuck that means.
Kip, can I make a deposit? Is there only sperm there? I mean, like, what's going on with this bank? Can we withdraw?
I feel like at some point we should do a reaction to that old Mormon band cartoon that talks about Heavenly Mother and like spirit babies and
Can
different
we?
planets, and I would like that. So much of it is not
do it.
doctrine anymore, but it's an interesting look at like the historic way that mainstream evangelical Christianity looks at Mormonism, and how we have like it talks about multiple gods, just different planets, Kolob, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. The JWs used to believe very similar, because the Mormons and JWs came from like the same damn branch, but they also believe that Yahweh came from a different planet. I think it's Pleiades, or not planet, the star system or whatever, Pleiades. Yeah,
The Seven Sisters, yeah.
Yes. And I think they also mentioned some other gods and where they came from, but I don't, it's been so long since I looked into it, and it's older, so you have to really like deep dive to find it, because they want to pretend they never ever said any of those things because now it kind of sounds a little crazy. But it's
How
fun.
do you decanonize that kind of thing, though? Like, if that's,
You just stop talking about it. You just don't preserve
we're
it.
just going to erase it, like Asherah.
Yeah,
We're just going to
just
pretend
like
it was never there.
the stuff with Asherah, just like what happened with Asherah. It probably was just that it wasn't preserved, and what they did, like, they just took it for themselves. That you don't talk about it no more. You don't preserve it. It's forgotten, like it never happened, even though it is out there if they want to look for it.
Yeah,
they just don't want to.
Yeah. I mean,
sorry guys, don't mind us.
This stuff we have from history is the stuff people bothered to write down, or people wrote down or made some sort of record that somehow miraculously survived to the modern day. I mean, think of how many like shards of pottery that were written on, parchment that was written on, that we have that are completely gone. How much writing have we lost just because someone stuck it in a drawer and forgot about it?
How much have
I
you
come
had
across
to find
post-it
it?
notes. Yeah, I come across post-it notes from like 2 years ago that I completely forgot that I put somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. And some of this stuff is very survivable, but also we're constantly finding new stuff, right? Like the Ugaritic texts, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and other things. And who knows what we'll find tomorrow? Like, so right now, there's some farmer in the desert who's like, "Holy shit, stone tablets with rules written on them," And we won't hear about it for a couple of years because first he's got to convince an archaeologist it's real, and then they have to assemble the team of scholars and diggers and do all the so it'll be a while. But like there's new discoveries happening all the time. And the next thing may shake our understanding of the ancient past just as much as the last thing did, you know?
I was going to show you one more picture just since you mentioned something that made me think about things being thrown away, like once they're discovered. These pillar figurines, have you ever seen these before, you guys? Because I had never seen them until I started researching. Never heard a peep about the existence of these figurines, but they believe that they're representative of Ashra, like with the breasts, and almost just kind of became shaped like a pole, like less defined. They used to have like a pubic triangle here, oopsie, right here, but then over time they kind of became more tree-like, which would fit tree imagery, whatever. But so many of these were discovered in Canaan as they were excavating and whatnot. And because, you know, they have a Bible in one hand and they're just trying to prove the Bible, this wasn't of any importance. So many of the figurines that were dug up were just thrown into the trash. Just trashed. Like gone
When
forever.
you say that
Thankfully,
there used to be the triangle there, and it's not now, like in the picture, you know how when you have statues and they're like a good luck thing, I wonder if it was a fertility practice to rub that particular spot, and that's why it's not showing up as much? That just made your mind. That's
maybe
because if it's a fertility object,
I mean, who's to say? Who? I mean, they'd have to do. I guess they'd have to even have ones that weren't thrown away to do tests. You know, right, to even do tests on to know for certain. Like they've kind of even ruined some of our chances of knowing some of this information. That would be really cool to know. I mean, of course, you're going to rub the titties. Who's not going to rub them titties? Like,
They
come
get
on.
so sore, and sometimes they leak, and that's just rude.
Oh, okay. I thought that was very, very cool. If you ever go just looking for the Judean pillar figurines, there'll be so many that come up. Super cool. And you probably can get replicated ones of those as well. I have no doubt.
Probably. I'd imagine now that people are aware they're out there, somebody's going to make a 3D scan and do the thing. But it's fascinating how that's like the most effective method to erase history is you don't make a deliberate concerted effort to erase the history. You just pretend it's nothing and let it fade away.
Yeah.
If you try to hide it, somebody will try to preserve it. But if you just say, oh, it's irrelevant, and it's just boop, and bye in a couple generations, no one cares.
Just like that. Just that easy, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it only works if you can actually shape the culture and people follow suit, you know?
Good to see you, right-handed Sith. And Deviant Outcast, hello. Hi.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Bestie.
You got all the fun.
Oh, I have some more fun images I can show you guys.
Yay.
Ooh,
yeah, we've got a little bit longer.
Yeah.
There we go. So this was from one of those Pithos jars that had the inscription with Yahweh and Asherah. But you again, like that same damn imagery. Like, look, the tree with the branches coming off, flanked by the ibexes, sat on top of a lion, and it's just meant to invoke like royalty, power, strength, you know, and obviously like her symbols, tree of life, but all those together, it's like undeniable of who that's meant to represent, which I just think is, man, it's incredible. And I'm so sad and disappointed that I spent so much of my life thinking that there was just only this one idea of the divine. And regardless if I'm a believer or not, I still feel like for those who do believe, for those who have the ability, like I might have lost my ability to just believe anymore, you know? But those who still have it, like if I can repair for them some of that damage and show them that not only was their representation of women in the divine, but that she was almost the head honcho. Like that's where life came from. So important that at some point that became it was jealousy that took her away from us. And I just want them to be able to find that again, and they can, I don't know, have more joy in the representation that I could ever have. Sorry, Ember, was there something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the image and it finally clicked to me. Why two ibexes? Why this menorah looking tree? What it makes a shape, right? It really, really does. Consider the shaft of the tree, the vaginal canal, and look at the shape around it. It's the uterus and ovaries.
It does look
together,
right.
they are the reproductive system.
I think that it's meant to give you that kind of I mean, that's just what I feel. That's what I think. And there's probably books like When God Was a Woman that says the same. It's been a while since I've read it. But that's a really good book as well.
Yeah, it's not a pole. The pole is the negative space. It's the birth canal where the power of the goddess brings new life into the fucking world.
And there's also something with the
Yes, the
like
oopsie also brings new life into the world.
The oops, hey, oopsies, having a baby. But something with the almond shape as well that goes back into frack. It's been so long. I should have looked this all up. But anyway, into imagery or in words from like ancient Sumeria. So it again transcends time. That these symbols kind of ebb and flow through different cultures, just all connected to similar imagery. I find that very fascinating.
It's very peculiar. Like some of these like we make fun of AIs for giving us like hands with like 17 fingers and whatnot, but this left ibex is a fucking insect over here. It's got two right forelegs, you know?
Hey, come on now. Leave it alone. Yeah, I don't know about those about the outlines, if they how well they I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm not an artist myself, so I'm trying not to comment.
Well, I mean, in fairness, it is a lot harder to inscribe stuff than to draw stuff. And it's a lot harder to do with ancient people's tools. Like, you know, now we've got like steel chisels and shit, and they had to make do with whatever the fuck they had available at the time. Even in the early Iron Age, that doesn't mean everyone had access to iron chisels, you know? That was like the top level technology at the time.
Right.
Most
and
people
the thing
had
is,
like wood.
As technology, as like the war tools got bigger, better, stronger, the men took more and more and more from us. I'm going to look up this book. Give me a second. I'm not really sure.
We're finding the thingies. We're digging through the depths of history. Jess, I think we rarely plan these well in advance, but I think if we can find that ancient Mormon cartoon, that would be a fantastic thing for next week.
Could do that. Yeah. Okay.
That would be fun.
So I mean, you know, talking about topical stuff like the current political situation, the fact the US government is still shut down, the continued war crimes, all these various things, that's depressing, but also engages people. But I'm much more interested in this ancient comparative theology stuff. And by ancient, I mean like 50 years ago, but you know.
Hey, now.
Fuck, that makes me almost ancient. Oh no. Well, I mean,
it's gonna be great.
I was about to say.
Like, a week before my birthday, I got a mailer from AARP. I'm like, guys, the fuck? I'm not that old.
Yeah. No, I get that. About 2 or 3 years ago was the first time I walked in the store to grab something that I wasn't carded for. But the thing is you have to understand, to get carded here, you have to look under 40. And I wasn't 40 yet. And I'm just like, okay. So now I never get carded for anything.
Happy preemptive birthday, AJ. And take time to celebrate you with your personal holiday. Forget about the damn number. Just celebrate you.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
I've got something cool planned on my birthday this year for once.
Oh, your birthday's coming up still?
Yeah, I'm going to be on a Bad Science Sunday for my birthday.
Ooh, aren't you lucky? Fun.
It's like the only thing I'm doing. I don't really celebrate my birthday, so I'm just like, sure.
Me neither. That's a celebration. That would be like a good gift.
Oh, it's like the
for a
coolest
birthday.
thing ever.
Right? Absolutely.
It is. It's so fun. I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of like Owen on the subject of birthdays, right? Like Owen's another, Owen Morgan, another former Jehovah's Witness, because he didn't have birthdays growing up, or Christmas. Christmas is what he talks about, because he didn't have Christmases growing up. Now that he's a non-believer, he does all the Christmas. He revels in it, not because he believes, but because it was an experience denied to him when he was younger. I do birthdays for the same reason. Like, a birthday doesn't really mean that much to me today, but the fact it was a thing I didn't have as a child, it's for the sake of that poor forgotten little girl that I make a big deal out of my birthday now, you know?
I'm just not used to celebrate my birthday, so I just don't really.
I mean, you don't ever have, just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you have to, you know? I'm just like, celebrate you, because you're here, you've survived all the bullshit so far, and being half Irish, any excuse for a party is a good reason for me. So, you know. I don't know.
Equus. Sorry, I just wanted to so I'm sure you guys have found, like, when you read books, there's just a lot of sexism in it, and maybe they don't realize that they're being sexist, but there's just some assumptions I feel like are made. And one of them I found the other day was about when I was reading through the like Ugaritic poem, and there's one part in, I think, the Baal cycle that mentions, I think it's from the Baal cycle, it might be like another epic or anything, but it just says that there's a goblet that even Atharat can't look upon, Asherah. And in one of the notes, the scholar said something about menstruation. It's probably because of menstruation, and that was the time of the month that she wasn't allowed. And I was like, that is just such a fucking huge assumption to make. Where's your evidence? I would love to know what your evidence for that is. That's why she couldn't look upon that chalice, that is because of menstruation. Where are you getting that from? Are you getting that from the Bible that comes like way after? I don't know. I see it all the time, like really weird things with no explanation, just based off of the sexism that we have today. Don't know what to do about that.
And
all I got to say about that.
Yeah. There's so much going on. To answer a question in the chat, the halo as an artistic symbol of the divine first appeared in ancient Iranian art. The Mithraists were using it in around 300 BCE to depict the blessing of light upon a prophet or something from, Uhura Mazda, the sun. Like if you have a halo of light, you have the sun's blessing upon you. It started to spread to other cultures. The Buddhists incorporated it in the late 3rd century. The Romans incorporated it. The emperors began using it, a halo blessing from Helios. It's the same sort of thing, just a different god name. Because it was pagan, the Christians refused to incorporate it into their art until the 4th century CE, when they were finally like, oh, well, fuck it. It shows divine authority. Let's go with it. So, yeah, it was not only not the Christians, but the Christians refused to appropriate it for a few hundred years because it was so very pagan.
Interesting, right? And they'll tell you that their religion has not changed. And I don't get how you can be so, you must not know anything about history. Because I could, as a Jehovah's Witness, maybe think like, okay, maybe that's possible because I didn't know history. But now the little teensy weensy bit that I have been able to get myself up to date with, I'm like, ain't no way. They've, again, not born out of a vacuum.
And every religion evolves in and of itself, as we can see from all the modern flavors of paganism. They, just like the Bible errors, we can trace back the manuscript traditions and where the errors came from, like ERVs in a genetic code. We can see the same thing in modern neo-paganisms, where, when people do their ritual circle a certain way, they all have that thing in common. They have a common ancestor, and people who do it in a different way, they all have a common ancestor. All these, it's like genetic markers, and it's freaking cool. But also, just because a thing is written down doesn't mean it stayed that way, right? Like modern Christians, they don't really pay that much attention about mixing crops, I mean, they don't go out of their way to do it, but they don't go out of their way to not do it either, The priorities evolve. Just because it's written doesn't mean it stays. That's just a snapshot of where things were at the time.
The religion is still changing. The freaking rapture, that's a new idea. That's a new premise. That wasn't something widely believed. So the religion is still evolving. I mean, not everybody believes that they're, is in a rapture, but many believe in some kind of Jesus returning. But anyway, I'm sure there's other things, if I could think of, if I really sat down and thought about it, how their religion has continued to change. Focus, hocus pocus.
I know.
There she
Perceive
is.
me not.
There's a beautiful face. There she is.
We're playing peekaboo up in here today. Oh my.
Peekaboo. I don't know which design.
The halo thing.
Oh, the halo.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Christianity wiped out most of the other religions by violence, it's weird how when, it'd be like if Americans adopted a certain kind of building technique from the French and then went and killed all the French and went, okay, so Americans didn't invent it, but it's only Americans who use it today. So it's really an American thing, you see?
My God.
You
Don't we
killed
do
all
that
the
with
French.
everything?
What do you mean? What?
What'd you say, Lil?
Don't we do that with everything already?
Oh, oops.
Freedom. We're liberating the land, you
Oh,
see.
yes, we liberate it.
Is that what it
Sorry.
is?
Liberate.
Liberated.
Yeah. Not obliterate.
Is the halo an adaptation of something? I thought for sure, like I've seen, I don't know, rays or something coming out of Inanna's head. I could be making that up, but maybe that symbol was an adaptation of something else.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many sun gods back in the day, right? Like, I mean, the reason the Roman emperors used it was because Helios and the Roman equivalent, because they're the same freaking gods, god of the sun. It made sense, and it continued like there. I mean, even in Christianity today, they make a big deal over the yes, double G videos, the holy halos. Check back in tomorrow, and Chris, I'm sure we'll run that one.
Be careful. Don't hurt yourself.
Oh, wowzers. Alrighty, folks. I've got to scoot. The next show starts in 5 minutes, and I got to set things up. Some of these folks may be joining me, but we're talking kink and Christianity today. That should be fun. So yeah,
sounds fun.
I'll pop the link one more time here, and then if I can find it. Did I apparently I didn't copy it. Hold on. Hold please.
Hold please.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Such a good conversation. I love talking about Asher. I could just sit and talk about her all day, quite frankly. So So it's always a good time for me. I'm glad you all got to join me and give your little insights as well.
And then next week we're going to do the Band Mormon cartoon, so that'll be fun.
That is going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do that with you guys. How old is that cartoon? Is that like 80s?
I think that the art is not great. It looks like 70s, but it might very well be 80s, just with like a Christian home movie camera thing that they talk through. You'll
Right.
see. You'll see.
Can't wait. Got to stay tuned to find out.
Hell yeah. And remember to subscribe. All everybody in the description. Do it now, because if you're watching on some of the channels, this video disappears immediately after we go off the air.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
we're
join us
all
for
here.
all the things that we all do, because we love to see you. And yeah, so I'm gonna tootle, and Ryan will push the closey button. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll see you in a few minutes over at my place.
We will. You better make sure you go over there and watch the next show. Love you guys. Great to see you. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.
Bye.